Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by my jacket, it's getting colder. October 1st, that's what we have today. And in today's videos I will give you, I think, 4 articles, 4 topics. We will start with Pentagon, allocating again certain amount of money, and I will tell you towards what. Then we have a very important announcement from Israel, what Israel is currently doing. As again, I want to repeat, I'm not an expert, but just looking at what's going on. Chills. And then we will go to Poland, and I give you some very disturbing news. And we will end this video with some updates about banks in the United States. So kind of all over the place, but you know, it's good. We will cover few important topics. So let's start with 2 articles from TASS. The first one is about Pentagon allocating $6.9 billion to make small diameter bombs for Ukraine and other countries. Washington, October 1st, the US Department of Defense has awarded the Boeing company with a 6.9, pretty much 7, almost 7 billion US dollars contract for small diameter bombs. The Pentagon said in a statement, according to this document, this contract involves foreign military sales, in short FMS, to Japan, Bulgaria and Ukraine. Work is expected to be completed by December 31st, 2035. Russian President Vladimir Putin has repeatedly emphasized that weapons supplied to Ukraine will not change the situation on the battlefield, only prolonging the conflict. Isn't it psychologically funny how they play with those numbers? Can I just tell you, for many years of my life, I work in retail, high-end fashion stores. And this is known to everyone who's in sales, that when you put the price point, the price for the product out, you don't put $3,000, you put $2,000, 950. So 2950. So psychologically the customer is thinking, oh, you know, it's just 2,000 something, right? Which is actually in fact 3,000. So this is the same. $6.9 billion, which is 7 billion. That's how I read it. And this will be a small diameter bomb for Ukraine and other countries. What is the kind of bomb? I have no idea. It just sounds not good to me already. I'm sure Scott Ritter will know, and other experts, Andrei Martyanov probably as well. And now we have very important news update about something that is already taking place, very dangerous. I don't know how this will escalate. We have already people running away from Lebanon because Israeli army announces start of ground operation in southern Lebanon. In a statement it says, in accordance with the decision of the political echelon, a few hours ago the IDF, which is the Israel Defense Forces, began limited, localized and targeted ground raids based on precise intelligence against Hezbollah, terrorist targets and infrastructure in southern Lebanon. These targets are located in villages close to the border and pose an immediate threat to Israel communities in northern Israel, the statement reads. The army stressed that the IDF is operating according to a methodical plan set out by the General Staff and the Northern Command, which IDF soldiers have trained and prepared for in recent months. Operation Northern Arrows will continue according to the situational assessment and in parallel to combat in Gaza and in other areas in parallel. So more destruction of Gaza and more destruction of other areas. So we are going to destroy all those areas simultaneously, in parallel, almost at the same time. What are they doing, guys? Huh? You think that, I mean, this is spiritual war, we all know this, but do you think this is all about going after Iran? Do you think is that? Do you think it's about resources, energy resources, or what do you think? Well, I look at this as a spiritual battle, so that's another higher level of the intention behind it. But from the 3D, isn't it about destroying Iran, going after Iran, taking over that region for the resources? And maybe some other hidden truths or some other hidden, well, those of you who know what I'm talking about, you probably know what I'm tapping into. Now let's go to Poland, guys, because this is absolutely not funny. As a matter of fact, it's quite scary. And what is that? From today, and that is October 1st, some hospitals in Poland might limit planned surgeries and postpone visits to specialist clinics even until next year. This sounds like, that's okay, just some hospitals. No, I don't have the exact number. There was a map. My apologies, I didn't write down how many hospitals will be closed and how many of those hospitals will be redirecting the patients to other regions, other hospitals, which are very often hundreds of kilometers away from the place where they're supposed to have consultation or surgery or treatments done. Let me read you what's going on. All of this is because the National Health Fund does not pay for the so-called overperformance, like surgeries, treatments and consultations beyond the contracted limits. So it looks like they have limits for that. And this is called overperformance. So it doesn't matter if someone's life is in danger. That's how I read it. The National Health Fund lacks 5 billion zloty for this. I didn't exchange the currency, so those of you who are watching, I have many of you wonderful people who often do the exchange rates. You can exchange how much the National Health Fund is missing. That is 5 billion Polish zloty for this. Now I will be quoting, I think it's one of the directors of the hospital, so let me read you. Oh no, actually one of the patients. One of the patients is responding to this. This is a pathology that is happening here. It's one of the patients. Either they send us to other hospitals, or they don't enroll us at all, or they admit us for 15 minutes. They took me to ER with a chest injury. They barely took it and already had painkiller and discharge. Apparently, there are no doctors. At home, I wasn't sure what would happen to me. After 2 weeks of a checkup at the clinic, I didn't know if I would survive by then, she admits. Another patient says, we will now wondering, like wandering around other hospitals. We will simply have to die. Whether you enter, it's empty. On the surgery, emptiness. On pediatric, emptiness. They don't want to do the research. I waited half a year for the procedure. Can you believe it? There are people who are waiting even more than that, longer than that. I waited half a year for the procedure, and now they say that it's not known whether I will even get it. You have to go everywhere at your own expense. It is about 100 zloty one way and up to 100 kilometers away. What about the elderly, this person is asking? What about those with children? Exactly. Now, according to the director, so end of quoting that patient, according to the director of one of those hospitals, the hospital should not admit a single patient until the end of this year. We just didn't get the money for it, the director says. You could say that in this situation we should see patients for 9 months and from October tell them to look for help elsewhere. It might also happen that the staff will refuse to treat you because you should be paid a decent salary for your work, and I cannot guarantee anyone that I will have a salary in October. Nobody wants to work for free. We already know how many people should lose their jobs. These will be people from every level, including doctors, because our recovery plan also assumes the suspension of the work of another ward, says the director. So The nurses are already talking. There will be a lot of layoffs. Uh, it's falling apart, everyone. What can I tell you? It's simply falling apart. And you know, at the end of all of this, what I think about is if you don't have strong spirit now, I know there are situations when you simply need the doctor, right? You do. There are accidents, there are different things, but there are many people who get so depressed and psychologically, mentally disturbed and worry that affects their physical health. So the strength of the spirit, as much as we can, we have to really nurture this in us. I know it sounds like very cliche, and some of you will be like, what is she talking about? But this is really important. You have to strengthen your spirit now more than ever. Because if your mind is healthy, if your spirit is strong, it does affect your body immensely. Now, and of course, try to eat as healthy as possible and move your body. Since we are on the topic of closing places, an article from Daily Mail about American banks. Citibank and Chase Bank, which JP Morgan Chase, which I have account in, I used to use that bank a lot in United States. It used to be Washington. I remember I had Washington Mutual many years ago when I moved to States, and then Chase Bank bought it, I think. So yes, Citibank and Chase among banks that closed 11 branches in just 1 week. Banks closing branches fastest in 2024. And here I have the list. How many branches have been closed so far? So we will go through some major banks, some known banks. Some of them are actually international, and few of those who I don't really know well, but I'm sure many of you on this channel will do. Let me just wait for the people to pass. Okay, so the first one we start with is Bank of America, 90 branches. US Bank, 73. Wells Fargo, 62. Chase, 53. TD Bank, I think we have in Europe, TD Bank. TD Bank, 52. Wood Forest National Bank, 31. PNC, 37. Citizens Bank, 29. Key Bank, 16. Capital One, 12. This is known bank here too. Citibank here as well, 5. And other banks, 79. So I don't know what are the other banks, but here how they explain those closures of those branches is that people simply prefer to use the internet nowadays and they don't really need those banks. I will say there is another reason behind it, but you know, again, I'm not an expert in the economy, but I don't think it has to do that much with how much people use the internet banking system. Of course, they do use it much more than they used to before. However, I think this is not the main reason why they are closing it. And we will end this video today with first and foremost thanking you for such a beautiful response to my video from Sunday, in which I paid a tribute to my father, who I appreciate now more than ever, and I am very, very proud of his work. And you left such a great comments. As those of you who watched my video know, my father was one of the engineers who created UNAC, made in Poland motorcycle, iconic motorcycle you can say. And I didn't know this, but many of you mentioned this, that UNAC in Serbian language means hero. It's not a coincidence, isn't it? I don't know why they chose the name UNAC for that motorcycle, but I like the meaning of the name in Serbian language. Hello to all the Serbian people watching me. Lots of love to you. And I will leave with one comment of the day that was posted under that video from Geoeconomics. I think I've mentioned you before, one of your comments, and you say this: not all Poles are brainwashed. Indeed, not all of us are. And I think in every country not everyone is brainwashed, because, you know, some people are just old souls and they don't buy into this crap. Or if they do, they wake up. And when they wake up, you can't go back. With this being said, thank you so much for watching the video, for hitting this like. It's free of charge, and it really helps the channel to be recommended by YouTube to other viewers. who might never come across these topics ever if YouTube doesn't recommend. Thank you to those who are subscribed and to those who have not subscribed yet, but you keep on returning to my channel. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. It will help me as well with growing my channel. Thank you for all your donations on PayPal and for becoming my supporter on Patreon and Locals. And thank you for joining my mailing list, following me on Instagram as well, where I actually put more pictures the last time that I was talking about my father's work, so you can see some other machines from that era as well, not just my father's motorcycle. And with this being said, I think that's all. Anything else? Yes, I have a product if you're interested in buying some t-shirts or hoodies or other accessories. We are the leading edge. You can see it down below. I will be adding a few more statements that I end the video with, which are lots of love. And remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. I see you tomorrow in another video. Bye everyone. Have a great week and be safe.